Emperor Vashtar stood in the command nexus of the Crimson Hegemony's greatest weapon, the world killer Absolute Final, watching Earth grow larger in the tactical displays. The small blue world looked pathetically vulnerable, its primitive orbital defenses already swept aside by the advance fleet. Soon, the planet would join the ranks of the 47 other worlds the hegemony had sterilized in their march toward galactic dominance. "Begin planetary bombardment sequence," Vashtar commanded, his voice echoing through the bridge's crystalline chambers. "Target all population centers. Leave nothing alive." The massive energy cannons of the Absolute Final began their charging cycle, preparing to deliver enough firepower to crack Earth's crust and boil its oceans. This would be conquest number 48, another stepping stone toward the hegemony's ultimate goal of cleansing the galaxy of all inferior life forms. But as the weapon systems reached full charge, something unprecedented happened. Every human on Earth stopped what they were doing. Dr. Emily Vasquez had been reviewing patient files in her clinic in São Paulo when the sensation hit her, a sudden, overwhelming awareness that stretched far beyond her individual consciousness. She could feel every human on the planet, all 8 billion minds, suddenly connected in a network that had been dormant since birth. In Tokyo, construction worker Hiroshi Tanaka put down his tools and looked up at the sky with eyes that now saw beyond the visible spectrum. In Lagos, teacher Aduni Okafor felt ancient knowledge flooding her mind, knowledge of technologies and purposes that had been locked away in human DNA for millennia. Across the planet, every human being experienced the same awakening. They remembered what they truly were. Emperor Vashtar watched in confusion as energy readings from Earth's surface began spiking beyond anything his sensors could measure. What is happening down there? His science adept, Krelmoth, manipulated the sensor displays with increasing alarm. "Emperor, the planet's entire electromagnetic signature is changing. The humans appear to be synchronizing." Synchronizing into what? Before Krelmoth could respond, the communication channels crackled to life with a transmission from Earth. But instead of the desperate pleas or defiant speeches Vashtar expected, a calm, collective voice spoke, not one human, but all of them speaking in perfect unison. "You have made a mistake," the unified human voice said. "You have awakened the Guardians." Vashtar's confidence wavered. In 47 previous conquests, he had never encountered anything like this. "Guardians? What are you talking about?" The response came not just through audio channels, but directly into the minds of every being aboard the hegemony fleet. 8 billion human consciousnesses speaking as one. "We are the immune system of this galaxy. We were seeded here eons ago by the predecessors, placed on thousands of worlds, and left dormant until the galaxy faced a threat that required our activation." On Earth's surface, the awakened humans began to move with unified purpose. Every person, from children to the elderly, walked to specific locations across the planet's surface, forming geometric patterns visible from orbit. They weren't using technology or tools, their bodies themselves had become components in a vast living machine. The predecessors knew that eventually, a species would arise that threatened all life in the galaxy. The collective human voice continued. A species so consumed with conquest and destruction that it would require. Vashtar felt something cold settle in his chest. The predecessors vanished millions of years ago. They are myths. They ascended. But before they left, they planted us throughout the galaxy biological sleeper agents designed to activate when a genocidal threat emerged. "You have killed 47 worlds, Emperor Vashtar. You have crossed the threshold that triggers our awakening." The geometric patterns of humans on Earth's surface began to glow, not with technology, but with energy that seemed to come from the planet itself, or perhaps from somewhere far deeper than any planet. The glow intensified until Earth looked like a star-going supernova. But instead of destructive energy, it was broadcasting something else entirely. Throughout the galaxy, on worlds the hegemony had never heard of, similar patterns began forming. Other species, dozens of them, that had appeared to be primitive or unremarkable, were suddenly revealing their true nature. They were all connected, all part of the same vast network that had been quietly watching and waiting for exactly this moment. "We are not one species," the collective voice explained, as reality began to bend around Earth. "We are one organism, distributed across the galaxy, designed for a single purpose, to preserve life by eliminating threats to life." The Absolute Final shuddered as its weapon systems began to shut down, not through outside interference, but because the very matter they were made of was forgetting how to exist as weapons. Throughout the hegemony fleet, warships were becoming something else, their crews experiencing a transformation that was both gentle and absolute. "You cannot fight us," the human collective said, "because we are not your enemy. We are the galaxy's antibodies, and you are the infection we were created to cure." Emperor Vashtar felt his own consciousness beginning to change, aggressive impulses being replaced by something far more fundamental, the simple desire to create rather than destroy, to nurture rather than conquer. Around him, his crew members were undergoing the same transformation, their faces filled with wonder as they remembered what it felt like to value life. "This is impossible," Vashtar whispered, but even as he spoke, he could feel his conviction wavering. The network was showing him visions of what the galaxy could become, worlds working together, species sharing knowledge, life flourishing in ways he had never imagined. "The hegemony ends today," the human collective announced. "But you, personally, do not have to end with it. The transformation we offer is not death, it is awakening to your true purpose as guardians of life, rather than destroyers of it." As the last of his aggressive instincts faded away, Vashtar found himself smiling for the first time in centuries. The need to conquer, to dominate, to destroy it all, seemed like a fever dream from which he was finally awakening. On Earth, the 8 billion human guardians began to return to their normal lives, but they remained connected, aware of their role in the galaxy's vast immune system. They would continue to live as farmers, teachers, doctors, and artists, but they would always be ready to activate when life itself was threatened. Dr. Emily Vasquez returned to her clinic in São Paulo, but now she carried the knowledge that she was part of something infinite and beautiful, a network of consciousness dedicated to ensuring that life, in all its wonderful diversity, would always find a way to survive and flourish. The galaxy was safe. The Guardians had awakened, and they would never sleep again.